Well, this showed that the more of the locally produced food is processed locally, the more the farmers can also benefit from it. But leaving the added value entirely in the country of origin of the raw materials also involves risks. If a dehydrating machine breaks down, for example, there is no large corporation behind it to provide a new machine 2 hours later. Sometimes also you don't have the know-how or you don't have the real material for processing. However, that you can still do fair trade is proven by the organization of our next guest, Gebana. For more than 20 years, they have not only been advocating fair trade, but also implementing it. Please join me in welcoming Elvira Zingg, Head Supplier Development at Gebana.
Elvira, schön bist du bei uns.
Elvira, wonderful that you are with us. See, this basket of fruits is just brought on stage. And here, I think we don't have apples and bananas. And in the 70s, there were a few women that thought, how can it be that 1 kilo of bananas cost less than 1 kilo of Swiss apples? And this gave rise to founding Gebana, and since the end of the 1990s, you have been engaged in fair trade. And well, how important it is for you, fairness, and what does the local value mean and creation play in this? Yes, thank you very much for inviting us. Yes, we are very, very proud. We remember the women that went on to streets in the 70s and just said that there is actually a problem if the bananas cost less than the apple. And it was also about the price that the farmers in the south received for their bananas. And at that time, the so-called banana women said they want to do it themselves. And a few years later, they actually imported the first container of their own banana. And later, actually, we were founded. We wanted to have fair trade bananas. And it's still the triggering power. What we say is, well, we do it ourselves. We have a web shop in Switzerland and in the neighboring countries. And the important thing is we are not seeing ourselves as traders that is buying up wonderful products and then offering them onto the market, good quality and lots of labels. No, we go locally and we try to develop supply chains, even in those places that have no good infrastructure. And we also would like to offer the space for new products and new infrastructures. And these are the projects that are very close to our heart. And we have some external partners and a great assortment of our products. Wonderful. If I understood you correctly, the local value that you are adding is just one of the instruments. How else are you implementing your vision of fair trade? Well, for us, it's important to see what we do where. The adding value locally needs to benefit the farmers and the local population. And we work with family-oriented structures with small farmers, and we do not want primarily to have established products such as those old-grown bananas. This is why we are now developing a supplier chain in Togo with fresh fruits. And as you know, that Togo is now heading the statistics in this respect. So you try to find the shortest way from the producer to the consumer. Well, yes, well, one should think that it's then cheaper, but that's mostly not the case if there's a direct way from the field to the fork. We have a lot of certified companies. We have certain premiums, and also internally at Gebana, we pay 10% of the sales price. For example, what we offer at the web shop, we pay back to the farmers during the season. We did that last year, for example, €200,000 were paid back to Burkina Faso and was distributed among 2,500 farmers. That impacted a lot of work to see that and to organize the whole transfer. But it was possible to do it over so-called mobile payments, so that the people didn't have to walk around with a lot of money in their pockets. So this is what we do step by step for the most important products that we have on offer. There's still a lot of work to do, but the farmers locally were enthusiastic about it. And we have lots of other projects as well, because we are represented in countries where sometimes infrastructures are not there. We don't have the huge economies of scales. We need good roads, we need good lines, and so on. Now, in more practical terms, who is actually benefiting from the creation of local value? First of all, it's the farmer, because he can earn his livelihood. He has ways and means to export. We support the farmers in the case of organic training, farming. We have some projects for the dynamic agroforest production. We have also jobs that we create, and we hope that in future we are also enhancing the local economy by building new production lines at production sites. And here we work with local construction companies, and we have the suppliers of all the varied products and materials that are needed. But what about the risks? Can you tell us where a project didn't really end with success and you had to break down? Well, I can give you a few examples. When it comes to quality, we didn't have to stop a project, but of course we run into difficulties time and again, and challenges that we have to meet. We heard about the insects in cultivation. We also have insects in processing after cultivation and after the yield and harvest, and especially in organic farming, this is a huge challenge, because in the conventional marketing and commercialization of the products are gassed just to make sure that nothing survives the transport. And there are no insects arriving in Europe, but we cannot do that in the case of organic farming. That's why we have to look for other solutions. For example, we have insect control, we have pest controls, we have the sticky papers, which are only applied in the whole processing chains, and still sometimes it's not enough. An example of Burkina Faso. Yes, you see here the example. For many years, we started to pack the mangoes under use of nitrogen and under safe and clean air conditions. But still it happens that sometimes a moth sits on the mango, but we see it and we try to get it before it develops. And we still have problems despite the fact that it was all airtight. And in Burkina Faso, we had no supplier of packing machines that are actually able to pack under clean air conditions and under tight air conditions. And we actually thought of having a Swiss supplier. He came to visit us in Burkina Faso and trained the technicians. And we did all kinds of things. For example, we exchanged the gas. Now it's only nitrogen that we use. That's much better, because the mixing was just not correct. And sometimes we ran into the problem that the bags came and arrived in a vacuum space. And actually, we ended up with not very nice products. They couldn't actually open the package. It was just a lump of products of mango. Yes, I remember you had problems with dates in the past. Same thing, same story. In the south of those countries, there's a lot of insects, and these fruits attract the insects. We needed specific control solutions. and we tried all sorts of ways and means. We have the good partner down there, not our own company, but we just support financially our partner there. And we try to do something with CO2, but for the last 4 years, we are deep freezing those dates. And that means that the insects cannot survive because they are deep frozen for 2 years. And we have wonderful quality, no insects in the dates once they arrive. But of course, it needs energy. This is one of the trade-offs we have to accept just for quality, just to control the pests. You can see it's not easy to do everything correctly. But at any rate, you had a wonderful vision just to bring the products here to Europe. I question myself, when these products end up here and cannot be resold, what do you do with them? Are you just throwing them out? Yes, that's true. Sometimes we do receive problematic supplies, and here we try to apply several solutions. But it's very rare that we have to throw out something all together. But of course, if there's a risk to health, we have to do that. We try to save the product. We hope that we can, for example, give a rebate. And for example, look at this picture. This is very specific. It just comes from a few weeks ago. We received persimmon fruits from Greece, and these look wonderful, but some part of the fruits were far too ripe. And with our neighbors that had the same stand, it was the Wart 21 from Grassroot Company, and we just were very fast in organizing one project and one action, and we tried to attract the customers to buy these ripe fruits in no time. And that's what happened. And it was just great. The consumers came and they bought the ripe fruits. And sometimes we can sell to industry for further processing. And in the past, we once also used alcohol and created a wonderful schnapps. Just some ideas. Yes, thank you very much that you joined us on stage. And this is your applause. Thank you very much, Elvira, for coming here.